Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another video for you, another commentary speed art video. So please do leave a like if you enjoy this video. That is a requirement, okay? Please, I need help. And also, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content. Now without further ado, let's get into the topic of today's video. So today I'm actually going to be taking you through how to speed read, because interestingly enough, speed reading is a really important thing for you. Because consider this, okay? If you spend 30 minutes, let's say reading a chapter of a book, that's 30 minutes that you spent learning all that information. Now, what if you could spend only 10 minutes learning and reading that same information? It would be so much better. It would be such a better use of your time, because then you can use those other 20 minutes either reading 2 more chapters or doing whatever else you want to get done. So, I'm going to be taking you through a few techniques on how you can learn to speed read. Now, it's important to know that speed reading isn't a special talent. Anyone can learn it. So, without further ado, the first technique I want to talk to you about is by using your hand as like a pointer. You can use your hand as a pointer and run it along the lines. Now, they teach this in schools a lot of times when people are just beginning to read, but by using this method, you can increase your reading time, because you can move your fingers at a slightly faster pace than you would normally read, and it allows your eyes to kind of focus on a certain specific location on the page. So it's a really good technique. It's pretty simple, but it's always useful to try if you're trying to increase your reading speed. Another method you can use is scanning or previewing your book. A lot of times you can read through all the chapters at once, or all of the main words. Look for all the keywords on the chapter first, and then go through and reread it. Because if you scan like subheadings and indexes and lists, you can get the overview of the work you're going to read before you get into the details, which will allow you to already be comprehending what they're going to be talking about. So it's just an easy way to kind of a precursor to when you start reading that you can start implementing on the day-to-day basis to increase your reading speed overall. Now, another method, and this is an extremely important one, but it's also kind of hard to pick up, at least according to a lot of people, is reading word groups instead of words. Now, essentially what you're doing is you're learning to read an entire group of words instead of reading a singular word. For example, if you read a book letter by letter, it would take a long time to read that book. Like, seriously, try and read Lord of the Rings, the entire series, letter by letter. That would take so long. Now, if you read it word by word, it doesn't take nearly as long. So that's essentially what the theory behind this is if you can read word groups instead of singular words, it's going to be even easier to read at least at a fast and comprehensive speed than it would be if you were just going word by word. So, yeah. Now, another thing you can do is buy and pick up some speed reading software. There's a ton of them out there, and a lot of times they help you to learn to speed read. If you find a good and reliable one, it can really improve your performance on reading. So that's always a consideration, is picking up a speed reading software. Now, you can also just use Spreeder.com, which is a resource that I've used in the past, and Spreeder just allows you to... It's a free resource which allows you to learn how to speed read. It's not as good as the other ones, but it's still good if you are looking for a free online resource. Now, another thing you can do is always try and revise your bad reading habits, because if you have bad reading habits, it's gonna be a lot harder, believe it or not, to read fast. Like, for example, if you skip back, or if you reread passages without need, or read in an unsuitable environment, or read while you're tired, it's gonna slow down your speed of reading. Like, one thing I always do is or at least, which is quite common, is I'll read a passage, and then it'll be like, oh no, what if I missed something? So I'll go back and try and read it again, just to find out that no, I didn't miss anything. So if you find yourself doing that, that's a habit that you really need to overcome, because it will increase your reading time if you cut down on those non-essential habits. Now, another thing is just read a lot and train your eyes, because if you're not reading a bunch and then you try and speed read an entire book, that isn't going to go well. So you need to really, I would say, consistently read and stuff like that, because it will help you get more used to reading, and the more comfortable you feel with doing something, the easier it's gonna be to do it fast. Now, another thing, and this is a very important tip because I'm sure a lot of people have issues with this: maintain focus when you're reading, okay? Because if you can't focus while you're reading, there's no point of reading in the first place. It's going to take you so long because you're going to get distracted by all the notifications from your Facebook feed. Now, you don't want that, so be sure to focus when you're actually reading. Turn off your TV, turn off your cell phone, stay in isolation, sit in a proper posture. And also, another thing is take breaks. Like, if you've been reading for too long, it's gonna get hard to concentrate. A good amount is around 50 minutes. Once you've been reading for about 50 minutes, just take a break. Go relax, do something else, and then go back to reading. Another thing that I personally find helpful is classical music when I'm reading. Either that, or something like binaural beats, which something that helps you focus and concentrate on your reading, if it actually does help you. And you can test, you can read a chapter or 500 pages, not 500, but you can read a certain amount of pages while you're listening to, let's say, classical music, and while you're not, and then test your retention and your speed on both of them. See which one works for you, and then choose that method, because in the end, the goal is to be able to be as efficient as possible so you have more time to do other things. But yeah, anyways, in conclusion, I do think speed reading is a really, really important thing to learn how to do, because if you think about it, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this video who actually don't like reading. Now, I do like reading, but even so, why would you want to read something slow if you can read it faster and retain the information just as well? It doesn't really make sense to me. So yeah, just think about it. Try and speed read. Try to learn to speed read. It'll be better for you in the long run. Now, I think that's all I have for you today, so I will see you in the next video.